Howdy, Jacob here. Today we're looking at Allison Transmission Holdings. This will be a one-off video. It's not part of any other screener, just requested. So I've actually looked at this company before because I was very interested in their little dividend, but mainly their huge amount of share repurchases. Alright, so it's in the machinery industry. $5.6 million market cap on $7.6 billion enterprise value, so a little bit of net debt here. Looks like they design, manufacture, and sell commercial and defense fully automatic transmissions for medium and heavy-duty commercial vehicles. It was founded in 1915. It's been around for a little bit here. We see that their earnings and return on invested capital have actually been pretty substantial recently, and actually pretty consistently since 2017. So outside of 2020, they've had probably averaging 16% return on invested capital, which is absolutely fantastic. But again, you have to keep in mind when you buy back shares, that can kind of tweak your return on invested capital number and kind of inflate it a little bit. So just keep that in mind. As for a dividend, they've been paying a dividend since 2013 and been increasing it quite a bit the last 3 years. Okay, let's look at that balance sheet. They did have a little bit of net debt here, so $2.5 billion long-term debt. It's a lot, but it's down from, well, a lot, you have to look at their free cash flow, but down from 10 years ago at 2.8. So they're pretty flat with their long-term debt. $232 million cash on hand. Now we have to see how much debt is that in relation to cash flow. So $2.5 billion, and they probably average $600 million. So that's just a little over 4 times their 5-year average free cash flow. But I will say their cash flow is down a little bit from 5 years ago, but up from 10 years ago. So never mind that. The use of cash flow. So the debt is not terribly concerning. I mean, obviously you want some of the more healthy ones. I mean, anything under 3 years with more consistent cash flow and a lot of cash on hand is going to be your safest bet. But every company has different perfect leverage ratios, and the fact that they've been around as long as they have makes me feel comfortable. The fact that it's less than 5 makes me feel pretty comfortable. All right, so their use of cash, a little bit of acquisitions, not too much, a little bit of reinvestment, not too much, a bit of dividends, and then a humongous amount of stock repurchases. So this company buys back an immense amount of shares. They've been doing it for the last 10 years, buying back as much as 100 million, or as low as 100, essentially, as high as 885 million. So they actually went into debt in 2017 to buy back some shares. Let's have 2017 data. Ooh. I mean, maybe they thought this was super cheap, but damn, it's 23. Obviously, I'm looking at hindsight, but a company, when their stock, let's say they thought their stock price should be worth, $35 in 2017. At 23, they should have been squealing for a deal. So that's interesting. Looks like they just reported earnings, had fantastic earnings. Good for them. So I would say that I'm ready to make some assumptions here. And revenue growth, I mean, there's not a lot of growth here. I really just don't think you're going to get much growth. 1.9 10 years ago to 2.7. I'll probably say roughly in line with inflation. Maybe I'll put a little bit of premium. I just did the biggest bit premium on PE, price for cash flow, because their return on invested capital is as high as it is. I don't like to do too much of a premium if I haven't found a company to actually reinvest it. But I do give them a premium, a tiny premium, in the fact that if they found an opportunity, they'd likely, give you a great return on it. I didn't say this, but their margins, both operating and gross, are both up. 22% operating to 28%. then 44% to 47% gross margin. So that's a very big positive there as well. All right, so these margins averaging 2022, like that. Free cash flow's higher. Over the last 5 years, though, it's weird, interesting that it's been going down actually. And I'll do just their average, keep that as is. I don't think 2% is going to hinder them that much. So I'm looking at their debt is 2.5. 2% increase to that would be about 50 million payout, and their average here is 600. So less than 10% hit to their free cash flow through interest expense. I think that's fine. Share change, so they buy back a lot of shares. So they make about, let's do some fake math on the side here. So 600 million average, they pay out, let's say 100, so that leaves 500 million. Maybe they'll do a little bit of acquisitions, a little bit of debt, that leaves 450. So 450 million is a lot of that 5.6. So that's 8%. I mean, they've historically done pretty close to that. Maybe they'll do 7%. Share change. And as for the dividend, yeah, they can afford that dividend. So let's just keep it as is. I mean, this is saying it's a buy, so I'm going to do more research on this. I'm going to come back to you with a review of their earnings reports and everything to see whether these numbers make sense. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll post my. This doesn't mean I'm buying it. This means I'm doing more research on it. So never buy anything because anyone ever tells you to do it. Please do your own research anyways. But I'll try to do my own research soon and post that and have more. At least to my review, more accurate results and assumptions. So, thank you. Have a great rest of your day.